Hey, what's going on, everybody out there all across the land? Once again, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to the number one station on the net. Of course, that is the Keith Harris Show. And once again, all right, without any further ado, as I told you a few minutes ago, go ahead and, grab your snacks. So if you're on your way home right now, get prepared in your car so you don't be trying to push no button and driving at the same time. And tell your aunts, your uncle, and your cousins and everybody, if they're not already tuned in to wearehotline.net, to make sure that they tune in. Because on the line with us, we have a very special guest today. He is an extraordinary writer, producer, and director with some new shows coming up that you should know about, and some works from him in the past as well that we'd like to touch on. Without any further ado, we're honored to have with us today the wonderful Todd E.Braley. How you doing, Todd?
I'm good, Keith. How's it going, man? Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man. Look, it's an honor to have you on. It's in our crafts and what we do. We have our creative minds, but it's also a wonderful thing when everyone can open up the doors for each other and just share the communication and help each other out. So again, I thank you for being on here today too, brother.
Right on, Well. Not a problem. Not a problem.
No doubt. So, first of all, for all the listeners out there, let everybody know where you're at, Todd. Like, you're in the north, the east, the south, the west. Where you located?
I live in Grand Junction, Colorado, which is about 4 hours west of Denver. Lived here since 1999. I lived in California for almost 30 years, Southern California, and then moved out here in August of 1999.
Okay. Is it, I guess things just kind of took you out there. Did you go out there for family or just in general?
Well, I lived in California for a really long time, and I worked in the film industry and the post-production industry out in Hollywood for about 5 years. And if making an enemy of your boss
oh, that sucks.
because all you're trying to do is do your job. I grew up with a very strong work ethic from my father, and one of the big things that he always pushed is when you do a job, you put 300% into it. Right. Well, I did my job, I put 300% into it, and then when other people start saying things to the guy who was the golden child as of such at the place that I worked at, and they say something. Well, you better watch out, man. Todd's going to be the golden child now. And then it was on for him. I guess I don't know. All I was doing was trying to do my job and be as efficient as I could be, because I was the overnight daily supervisor.
Yeah.
At this place, and he just waited for a reason to get rid of me. And when he found what he felt as though was a good enough reason, he got rid of me. And I thought, well, I'll just go someplace else, because I had gotten to know quite a few of the other places at the time that were open, that were available. And what happened was, he made a phone call. He called all these places and told them not to hire me.
He actually went through tracking all these.
Wow. Yeah, he called all of these post houses and told them not to hire me. I guess he did it before he let me go.
You're right.
And when they say you'll never work in this town again, they mean it.
Damn.
Because I couldn't get a job even as a production assistant doing anything. So I was getting ready to drive a taxi in Pomona. And anybody that lives in California knows Pomona. It's like Newark on a bad day. So I had a buddy that I made a movie with back in 1993, and he's from Grand Junction, and he called me up the day before I was supposed to start driving a cab, and he says, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm getting ready to drive a cab." And he said, "Well, I moved back to Grand Junction, and I'm working at a TV station making television commercials." Well, where I come from, television stations don't make TV commercials. Production companies do. And he said, well, in Grand Junction, Colorado, TV stations make TV commercials. He says, the money sucks,
Man.
They have, you know, computer editing systems and all this stuff, and I was like, huh. Talked to my then wife at the time and talked to her, and we had talked about moving anyway, and so we did. I mean, within a week of that phone call,
you was out of there.
Packed it up. Yep, I was out of there. Left California after 30 years.
Wow.
So,
and you know, and the good part is that you're still doing your thing. So, you know, the move has not slowed you down. It sure hasn't stagnated you in it. You got some wonderful projects coming up, Todd.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Got a lot of stuff going on. It's kind of nice because, you know, with the invention of Facebook here, Facebook has been a good and a bad thing for filmmakers, but for me, it's been mostly good. Yeah. And, you know, meeting people like Jose Masonette and you know, through him, obviously meeting yourself,
right.
You know, and then, you know, I've been down to Louisiana a few times due to the filmmaking thing, talking to my buddy, working with Johnny Rock and Christian Stokes and Catherine Talbot and a lot of people from down south, and
right.
And so yeah, through that, then, you know, all these projects have started to kind of resurface again and going back at it.
Let me ask you, Todd. You know, how did you know, backing back a while, how did you know that this was your calling, that this is what you wanted to go into, writing and producing and directing? Did it, you know, sometimes people are watching films and they're like, okay, this is what I want to do. But how did it start out for you?
Well, for me, I was about 8 years old, and I really got into, I used to watch The Wonderful World of Disney all the time on ABC, and I really liked the cartoons, and I originally wanted to be an animator, because I used to draw quite a bit. I actually wasn't too shabby. But as I got older, my love for animation changed, and you know, with watching TV shows like Starsky and Hutch and SWAT and you know, Kojak and stuff like that, I started seeing that, you know, maybe I wanted to do something more along those lines. And when I got to go see Jaws on my 12th birthday, that was it.
That did it for you right there, and we're going to talk about that too. Well, matter of fact, let's kind of discuss that, because Jaws fanatics. All right, tell us a little bit about that. Now, did you? I believe you definitely produced that. Did you write, produce, and direct? Or tell us a bit about that project.
Jaws fanatics was kind of cool because that came out of there was a documentary about Jaws that was done here not too long ago from some guys who are also Jaws fans. Did this documentary called "The Shark Is Still Working."
Oh wow!
And it's a great documentary. They had a version that was over 3 hours long, and they when they sold it to Universal to put on the Blu-ray, what wound up happening was Universal, since they bought the rights to it, they could do anything they want. They went in and they cut this magnificent documentary that was not only about the film but about the fans. They cut all the stuff with the fans out.
Oh man!
And then it was just like every other Jaws documentary, which was all things we already knew. You know, and as Jaws fans, and you know, people like my buddies Jim Beller and Justin White and Jay Sims and you know, a lot of these other guys will, you know, confess. If there's something about Jaws that we know, everybody knows it, and we all know it.
Yeah.
So what I did, I went to Martha's Vineyard in 2012 and met a lot of these Facebook Jaws fans face to face. And when we found out that, you know, that whole fan section of The Shark Is Not Working was no longer a part of the documentary, when I got back, I thought, you know what, let's make our own. And let's make it super easy. You know, I mean, instead of trying to raise money and travel all over the country and try to get, you know, interviews, which, you know, it's just not cost effective, and especially on a documentary that we really weren't planning at that point to make any money off of.
Right.
I just decided, you know, if you've got a webcam and you can record how they came to love the movie and the different, experiences that they've had with either running into Jaws, Jaws writers, any of the cast and crew from Jaws. I mean, the stories are all over the place and they're great. And then from there, one of the guys that we interviewed, my buddy Matty Johnson, who's the owner of Stax Hollywood LLC and Stax Entertainment, he liked it so much when I got it done that he's like, dude, we got to get this distributed. So it looks like distribution, he's working on that right now, but we should see something with that hopefully by the end of this year that it'll be available either through Netflix and Walmart. So
wow. And you know what, Todd? Yeah. As I was listening to you speak about that, a really good point comes out of that. As a matter of fact, in all honesty, Jaws had all the movies were good, pretty much good, but Jaws, that movie was really all about the fans, and I don't want to say that, hey, without the fans that the movie wouldn't be what it is, but to be honest, that's really almost the case with any project, is without the fans liking and showing the appreciation for it. But it's amazing that they would cut the people out like that and all the fans, and I tell you why, because I haven't really ever heard of a Jaws actually going around and in real actual life and doing all of this. So the point I'm making is when they created this movie in general, it was something for the fans, and the fans made it what it was. And without the fans enjoying such a story like that, it wouldn't be what it is today. So I think what you did is really important, is the point that I'm making, because the fans are really just as big as the movie is in this. So
exactly. It's the fans that continued to carry on the legacy, and that was actually one of the questions that I came up with when I was trying to I didn't really script the thing. I just had a list of questions. I sent them out to the Jaws fans and let them stew on it and think about it. And then when I got, when they some of them even had their own video cameras and shot their own footage and sent that to me through file transfer stuff online.
Right.
But one of the questions was, what are you going to do to pass on the torch to the new Jaws fans? To the kids, and the answers were great.
Right.
The answers were just astounding. It was because that movie, it has everything. It's about family. It's got the family element. It's got the dramatic element. It's got the comedy element. It has the scare factor. I mean, there hasn't been a movie since Jaws that has done that as well as Spielberg did with that film. And he hasn't done, in my opinion, he hasn't done a film that's been as good as Jaws since. I mean, yes, we love Jurassic Park. Yes, we love E.T., even Schindler's List. But to me, he hasn't done a movie as good as Jaws since then.
Right, and obviously, and as you said before, it's a legacy because so many people since then have attempted to, or had the opportunity to make some sort of spinoff from Jaws. So, so
yeah, but let's pay homage to a film by making Sharknado.
I know, right? Look.
Oh God, just God, stab me in the head with a dull pencil, please. I sat through Sharknado and just went, okay, never again. I'll never get that hour and a half back. Those brain cells will never regenerate.
You know what? I tell you what, Todd. When I made that comment, that was just floating right around. That movie was floating right around in the top of my mind. I just didn't say it, but you said it for me. So, wow, that's amazing.
That's bad.
Okay, now, and you're right. We can't get that hour and a half back. So, all right. Talking a bit about surviving the undead. Okay, we'll go into that, and
all right.
This. Now, I watched the trailer. Okay, I liked it. Big shouts out to Jose once again for doing an extraordinary job in that. Where was your mind at when you put Surviving the Undead together? It's a wonderful project, but where was your head at when you did it? How did you come up with it?
I'll make a long story short. My daughter, my two daughters, Jillian and Taylor, had actually come up with the idea originally about 3.5 years ago, and they shot 4 episodes. And I'll send you the links here later this evening. But they shot 4 episodes of this show that they made up on their cell phones, and it was about 2 girls that didn't like each other, 2 sisters, I'm sorry, that didn't like each other, that had to get along during the zombie apocalypse. And what was cool about it was not only did they shoot on their phones, but they only had 1 zombie in the whole thing, but they made it because of sound effects and how they shot it. It was shot, kind of pseudo-reality TV style, kind of a, paranormal activity kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the only zombie that they had was the little sister that had turned into a zombie, physically on camera. The rest of them were sound effects and then pretending like the zombies were pushing the door open. Or when one of them was on camera, the other one would be outside casting the shadow on the shades.
Wow.
It was a great idea. After 4 episodes, they kind of, because Jillian lives in California and Taylor lives here, they kind of, decided after 4 episodes, because Jillian was visiting for the summer and then had gone back, that they were kind of done with it. Well, I like the idea so much that it was different than what had originally been done.
Right.
That I decided to jump on what was being done and expand it, do the whole family, and have an element to it that most of these, that a lot of these kind of horror television shows don't have. Mm-hmm. And that's taking, in this episode, this series, this season is about a dysfunctional family that now has to learn to get along during this end of the world scenario.
Right. Now, let me ask you: were they already? Were your 2 daughters? Were they already into filmmaking at the time, or would it?
Yeah. Well, my daughter Jillian has been into that stuff for a long, long time. Okay. She wrote a couple of scripts that we shot when she was younger. Mm-hmm. She wrote a movie called Molly Dolly that was a horror film about this doll that, this literally a smiley face doll that attacks people. Uh-huh. And it was about 7 or 8 minutes long and scary as hell. I mean, the way we shot it, it was damn scary. So she's been into filmmaking quite a bit. My youngest daughter, Brienne, was her first on-camera presence was in Molly Dolly. Uh-huh. And
that's a cool name.
Yeah, it is. It's a freaky little movie. I'll send you a clip for that too. But
yeah,
it's so all my kids have grown up around it, and so it's kind of stuck with them. And Brienne, there was an original incarnation of Surviving the Undead back in 2012 that we had started shooting, and because of some of the production problems we had, we only shot 2 episodes and then kind of bailed out of it. But she played the youngest daughter in the family in the original version of the first incarnation of the show.
Wow.
And then my youngest, now she's actually playing the older daughter, or the middle daughter now.
Oh, wow. Hey, sorry, I just want to take a quick second to any callers out there that's listening in. If you'd like to call in, join the conversation, or ask any questions to Todd E.Braley, the number to dial is area code 252-526-1318. Again, that's 252-526-1318. All right. Now, back on Surviving Undead a little bit. So, when is that supposed to air on cable?
Well, it was originally, and you're getting an exclusive here. You're the first one to know about it.
Oh, wow.
All the listeners. It was supposed to start this Saturday, but we've had some technical problems when any show goes on television, it has to have closed captioning for the hearing impaired. Closed captioning is not something that you just put words on the TV and it's a done deal. Closed captioning is a very in-depth,
complicated.
Yeah, very complicated.
Okay. Yeah. I had that, as a matter of fact. Somebody was mentioning to that I learned that just the other day. As a matter of fact, someone was mentioning the closed caption that things. Now, let me ask you a question. Was it always like that where things had to have closed captioning? Because
no, the FCC literally within the last 2 years has made that call and put that law into effect that all shows must have closed captioning.
Now, does this mean? Sorry, and I asked this question because, of course, that's words going across the screen, like you say. But would that mean that all of the films now have to have that? So if people are watching the film, those words are going to be there, and there's nothing we can do about it to get rid of it, or?
Well, and that's the thing about closed captioning is it's actually something. It's a signal that is on video, that is on like DVDs. It's on the video that plays back for television. Most of the stuff that plays back for television nowadays is actually they're the computer files that are generated to actually create DVDs, and so it's a signal that you can turn on or turn off, and it's a lot more complicated than just having being able to turn something on and off, getting it actually on the video clip. And because of that, there's some software that I have to purchase now that is not super inexpensive.
I've noticed that it can't be in your field, right?
No, of course it can't be. So anyway, so I'm having to purchase this software to be able to create these closed captions that are made for broadcast television. Now, there's some out there that you can do for like YouTube and stuff like that, but it's not going to work for broadcast television. So unfortunately, we are not going to be able to air the show this weekend because of that, and it's going to actually start airing now on March 28th. I want to give myself enough time. I'm working with the television station that I work at to be able to get this stuff going and get it working, and they're actually being extremely helpful in trying to make this work for me. So anyway, yes, it was supposed to start this weekend, but due to that fact, it's not going to air. But it's things like this happen in TV all the time. There's things that get pushed back. I mean, that's another reason actually that television shows like The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad and things like that, they have these like mid-season breaks now.
Right.
Because what used to happen was, if you remember in the past, sometimes you're maybe 5 or 6 episodes into a new season of something, and then all of a sudden the next week you get a rerun. Well, what happens is there's something that happened in between the time that they were shooting, and once I got into not just when I was working in Hollywood, sometimes what would happen was the editing process, something happened in the editing process that they were unable to get that next episode finished on time. So sometimes they would have to push that. And there are other times where they're getting ready to start airing, and the producers would look at the show and say, you know what, we need to do this, and this. So I know it was supposed to premiere this weekend, but now push the premiere into the next month.
And
it's not something that's unusual
at all.
I'm just disappointed because everybody's been working so hard to get this thing going that having to push off the actual premiere of the show is disappointing. But it's just welcome to TV, welcome to the entertainment industry. It's just something that happened.
Well, yeah, you know what, and that's just like you say. For people out there listening, that and it's crazy because to people out there listening, I guess that type of stuff kind of means nothing to them because they just want to see a good show. But I tell you,
exactly
right. But I tell you, You're exactly right. That is what goes on. There's a lot for everybody out there listening. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. You know, by the time we watch something on television and you're just seeing the finished project, listen, editing, look, Todd, editing is crucial. You know this.
Oh,
you know, I'm not saying anything you don't already know, but to everybody out there listening, listen, editing is bananas when you have to go through that.
I know.
You know,
I know, it is. You know, and I worked diligently for the better part of 2 days.
Right.
To try 2 days with pretty much no sleep.
Right.
To get our first episode ready to go.
Right.
And it is a lot of work, you know.
Yeah.
My buddy Soul the Beat Man, the guy that's doing all of our music, he came over and sat with me to edit. So as I was editing, he could create his music. He brought his computer, his keyboards, and everything over, and he sat there while I was going. I'd turn around and say, "Okay, I got this scene. This is the kind of music I'm thinking about." And literally within 25, 30 minutes, he would come up with something for that scene. So as I'm cutting the movie together, the show together, he's doing the music, and then we're passing an SD card back and forth so he could put it on the SD card. I put it in my computer and put it into the show. I mean, that's
right.
It was,
and
that's just a short part of it. That's just a small part of it.
Right, exactly. That's just one niche. And I tell you what, on here there's things for everybody out there listening. That's the good part about what we like to talk about on here too is, because sometimes, at times, we hear from the actors and actresses and the people who do the scenes. But then it's always good to get, that point of view and aspect from people like Todd here who, they work diligently to be able to take all of this stuff and all of these scenes that all the performers have done and be able to put it together. I know I go through that a lot of times myself. I'm doing nothing anywhere as near as hard as what you guys are doing, and just for me to sometimes put together a little 2-minute video, and then just have to
That's
go.
That's a lot of work, man.
Look,
that's a lot of work.
People would laugh at me if they knew that I was up to like 4 and 5 in the morning from 10 o'clock at night doing something that was 2 minutes worth of work. But that's the way it goes in this industry. So like you say, it getting pushed back, it goes with the territory. It's normal and it happens.
Yep.
And it's like you say, you want to see it, and we all want to see it so bad. But hey, that comes with it, and we're still going to be as hungry for in March when it's time for it to come out.
Yeah, and I think in all honesty too, there's some stuff that I really once we made the decision, and actually the decision was just made this morning to push it back.
Mm-hmm.
That I started looking at the first episode again, and there's we're going to shoot some extra footage this weekend. I'm going to add that into it.
Mm-hmm.
Pushing it back is going to be better for the show,
mm-hmm.
and better for the people that are watching it, because then we put a lot of work into it already,
mm-hmm.
and to just to hurry up and get it done just to get it out there is almost kind of foolish on our part.
Yeah.
So we're looking at it now as in it's going to be another 4 weeks, but you know what, you're going to be happy with what we're going to show you in 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. So in 4 weeks, be ready to have an amazing half hour to sit and watch a television show.
Right, and I suggest that everyone out there, continues to watch the trailer. I know I'm gonna keep posting it myself, but listen, it looks like it's going to be a really great show, and everybody's looking forward to it. And
we're excited about it for the sole reason that it's not just a zombie TV show. It's going to have the drama of the family unit in it is something to be able to build, to watch a relationship, a completely broken relationship within a family,
mm-hmm.
build itself, by the, and to show the trials and tribulations. Mm-hmm. And the show itself only takes place within a 3-day time period. So it's not like The Walking Dead where every episode, you're
Wow, so that's a lot of that's a lot of different things to keep you interested right away instead of dragging you out for so long. Obviously. Now, what going backwards to some of the projects that you've worked on in the past, Silence. As a matter of fact, Silence. What was that about?
Silence actually came from an idea. Yet my oldest daughter Jillian came up with an idea about she wanted to make kind of a psychological. She wanted to make a psychological horror film to speak of. Todd,
so sorry to cut you off right now. We have a caller on the line, and then we'll go right back to talking about Silence. Caller, you listen to the Keith Harris Show with Keith Harris and Todd E.Braley. Who's calling?
How you doing, Keith? That's Jose Mason.
Jose, hey.
Jose, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? Thank you.
I just wanted to call in and say that, I'm extremely proud of Todd. And he's an extremely hard worker, and I don't think anybody who has not worked with him just will be able to see how hardworking he is. And I remember the first day we were on set filming for Surviving the Undead was actually a 14-hour day.
Wow.
First day. And Todd is one of those people also who wears many hats. He doesn't just, he's like the director, the producer, everything. In one at the same time, even though he has the other people to do it too. And everyone did an amazing job. The cast was great, the crew was great. I got along with everybody, and I actually have a question for Todd, if he's willing to answer.
Yeah.
So I actually forgot to ask this, but what was it like working with me for the first time?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I mean, it's funny because Jose and I have been friends for over 4 years, and we've talked on the phone. We talk on the phone at least once a week, twice a week, sometimes. We talk on Facebook all the time, and that's how I met Jose, was through Facebook. And when we originally, I was trying to get China White going, he was like the first and only guy that I wanted to play the role of Kevin. And after talking and having money dangled in front of you and then taken away, and planning trips to go to New Jersey to shoot this movie, and then having that yanked away, and being able to actually work with Jose after talking about it for 4 years was a pleasure. It wound up being more than I could have hoped for. It was fun. He takes direction well. As an actor, he listens, and I think that's one thing that a lot of actors don't do anymore. They don't listen to the director. They think they know what they're doing when they walk in the door. Even some new actors, will walk in and say, "Well, I have this idea." Well, I'm all about. A lot of people call me the actor's director because I love to work with the actors to create this character and mold this character into something that's believable, number one, and number two, that the audience will have an emotional tie with. And Jose is a listener. He sits there, and he's listening because he sits there and he looks at you, and he's like a freaking sponge, man. He's like a little kid that just sucks in everything that you're telling him.
Right.
And so, and for me, if people call me the actor's director, then Jose is the director's actor, because, he just wants to do his best for you. And he's going to do whatever you ask him to do, including being out in the middle of Loma with 40-mile-an-hour winds, and his hair getting messed up.
Hey, Todd.
Yeah, that was a rough day, man. That was a rough day.
We were shooting. We shot a lot of stuff for Surviving the Undead for episodes that aren't even written yet. I wrote scenes for them just because Jose was going to be here, and I knew what episodes I wanted him in. So we shot the ending. We shot the last 15 minutes of dude, it's windy. Everybody's hair is blowing. You'll get over it.
Hey, Todd. Hey, Todd. Look, Todd. I was just going to say, Jose's got one of the coolest hairdos we've seen in a long time, man.
Oh my God! Thank you, thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun. You know, that day was the last day of filming for me. But I gotta say, there was a lot of firsts for me on camera right there. And you'll see, I'll probably speak with you later, and I'll give you maybe a little bit of info, Keith, personally, but the rest of the people will just have to tune into the show and just find out. Hey. So, yeah, thanks again, Tom, for that. I'm pretty sure he knows exactly what I'm talking about, because I gave him some crap for it, you know, jokingly. But
no problem, man. Well, I appreciate you, Jose. I appreciate everything that you've done and your loyalty.
Yeah.
And,
well, alright, I'm gonna go. I'll let you guys finish enjoying the rest of the video and the interview. Keith, you're doing a great job. Todd, you know, like I said, man, keep pushing forward and don't let anybody stop you, alright?
No, never again. Never again.
All right, Jose.
Alright.
Take care.
Alright, man. Have a good one, guys.
Bye-bye. Hey, yeah, and you know, to speak about that, going into there was somebody from Texas to kind of go in to that, you guys chemistry is really great, and as a matter of fact, going into China White, you know, also, you know, I seen a clip from that, and listen, did you write China White as well?
Yeah, actually, China White came from a movie that I did with my buddies when I was 19, when I had my Super 8 camera, and we did a silent version of China White.
Sorry, Todd.
At the time,
Todd. Sorry, I know it gets crazy, but we have another call on the line, and that's good. Caller, you listen to the Keith Harris Show with Keith Harris and Todd E.Braley. Who's calling?
This is Cassie B. I was just calling. Yes, I was calling to tell you, Todd, I am so proud of you.
Hey, can you hear Todd?
Yeah, I'm just kind of breaking up a little bit. Thanks, Cassie. Thanks, Cassie. Cassie's also been another very loyal, very, very good friend.
All right. Yeah, we got you. And that's good, understandable. And we thank you for calling in, Cassie. I know you probably hear me. You know this. Hey, that's great. So you guys, you all know each other. You work together as well on the projects, or?
Well, Cassie and I actually, she helped me rewrite China White. The script that I had originally, I really started looking at it again, and it didn't have what I would consider to be kind of the essence of good, really, really good dialogue. I mean, I'm a writer, but Cassie's an amazing smartass, and there was just some of that. Well, but she's also very her sarcastic nature is what the script needed. So she and I worked together for probably, I don't know what Cassie, 3 or 4 months.
Yes, about 4 months.
And we rewrote China White, and she really brought some amazing, not just dialogue, but some amazing ideas that really got me excited about working that script again, and getting it done. And from that, we came up actually with a trilogy. So anybody out there that wants to give us some money to do the China White trilogy, we actually have 3 movies that coincided with each other.
Oh, wow.
That starts in New Jersey and ends on the Mexican-Texas border.
What?
So,
that's going to be crazy, because you know the clip that I saw myself. First of all, the storyline behind it is a great story, and I think so many people out there can really relate to that, and just the reality and the fact that, listen, that does really go on, first of all. And and the acting that I saw in it was amazing. Now, if you guys are talking about taking this, from place to place, that means this story is about to get deep.
Well, and that was one of the things that somebody had brought up to us about making a trilogy. And I sat down and I really thought about it, and I tossed around some ideas with Cassie, and so I sat down and I wrote the treatments. We don't have scripts for the second and third film, but we do have the basic outline of the thing, and it makes its way. It starts in New Jersey, it makes its way down into Louisiana. The second film takes place in Louisiana, and then from the end of the second film, we start making our way then into Texas, down to the Texas-Mexican border. And the thing that's cool about it is, man, there's like twists and turns at every turn, at every corner. So it's just when you think you've got things figured out, me and Cassie turned it upside down on you, and it's one of those movies that that you will do the Friday Chris Tucker and Ice Cube every time.
Wow.
Every time.
Okay.
It's when we get to make those, it's going to be off the hook. And plus, my Cassie E is going to be playing a reporter in the film.
Oh.
She'll be in all three of them, but she becomes a main character in the second and third one. So, she's Cassie's an amazing actress as well as an amazing writer, and she's an artist. She draws. I mean, paint. She's crazy. She's crazy talented.
Oh, okay.
I just really appreciate it.
We're definitely looking forward to this. And Cassie, thank you for calling in.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon, Todd. Love you.
All right. I love you too, Cassie. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, that was really cool. And I tell you, and it seems like you can tell the sincerity between you and your staff and the people that you work with. What's been the greatest point to just doing all of this and your success so far, Todd? What's made you the happiest through this journey?
Well, the journey I've had has been filled with probably more drama behind the camera than in front, which sucks, but
right.
It's one of those businesses, and I feel like I've been successful because now I will say this, Keith, I have walked away from this many times, and I've walked away from it most recently too, last year. Just because I feel like I always try to do something to help other people to achieve their own dreams, because I never had anybody to help me. My parents did when I was a kid, but there's only so much that your parents can do for you, and then the rest of it is up to you.
Right.
But I always said that if I ever got the opportunity to give somebody else a chance that I didn't get, then I would do it. And I just kind of feel like that is something that I do. A lot of the people that are in, like, Surviving the Undead, it's their first acting job on camera. Maybe they've done a couple of plays at school or whatnot, but this is their first acting job on camera. And I feel like, I'm kind of like the new guy director. Give me all the new people. Give me the people that are hungry. Give me the people that are, that maybe may not have the opportunity because of where they live to do this kind of thing, but I've always wanted to do it.
Right.
And plus, yes, I have given up, but I always seem to, when I bounce back, I come back 10 times as strong as I was, even 2 years ago.
And that's the great thing about perseverance and determination is it feels good when you can overcome situations, and it just shows, Todd, it says a lot just about determination and faith, as a matter of fact, just faith in your belief in what you follow and what you decide to do. So that's great.
Well, and I think that having a good support system, it's kind of funny because the last time I walked away and I was done, man, I was never making movies again, and screw everybody, and what a bunch of unappreciative people out there, and blah 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 blah. And my wife was like, okay, That's fine. And Jose actually is kind of funny because he laughed at me.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, okay, man, you're walking away. I get it. Okay. Snicker.
Right.
And I had a good buddy of mine, my buddy Yogi B Mall, out of North Dakota. He gave me a Christmas present, which was a website.
Oh, wow.
That I had. I basically shut down my website because I just, I couldn't afford to keep it open at that point. And he had built me a website with my name, Todd E.Braley.com. And he created an online film school.
Yeah.
That I am currently working on getting all the stuff down, the itinerary and the what's the word they have for when you put your classroom stuff together.
Jeez, I can't think of it. It's something that has to do with plan.
You know the word.
Something planning.
Me the word.
Yeah. Something planning. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, the lessons, the
lesson plans, something like that.
Lesson plans.
Yeah.
There you go. And so I'm working on that right now, trying to get that stuff put together. But it's not going to be so much about how to make movies. It's going to be how to make movies within what you have available to you. And that's how I've always had to ride on the skin of my teeth. The most money I've ever had to make a movie was $4,000. And like on this television show, I've spent more money than I probably will ever see from this television show.
Right.
Myself and my buddy Preston Manny, he and I both have put out money, for food and props and stuff like that. We've been very lucky that we haven't had to pay for locations and things like that. But it's basically what I want to do is teach people how to make movies within the realms of what they have. So when you write a project, what do you have within your reach? Instead of writing something that's completely outrageous and completely unreachable, I want people to learn how to make movies within what they have within their reach.
Right.
When we put together Surviving the Undead, I didn't want to make it like The Walking Dead because to me it's like, you've got that sci-fi show Z Nation. First of all, very poorly acted show. And everything on sci-fi is bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, instead of making it like Walking Dead and having the turned over cars and the empty roads and all that stuff, we base our show, like I said, it's within a 3-day time period, and it's at the beginning of the epidemic. So we don't, the zombies are not looking like any Walking Dead type zombies. They're fresh, they're new, they don't have flesh dripping off their faces because we can't afford that. But we can still get our point across and not have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. So again, it comes back to what we had within our reach, and we can't, obviously we can't block off roads, we can't turn over cars. We shoot in my neighborhood, everybody's got to move out of the street so the car can drive by.
Right.
So,
but
that's one of the fun things. That's one of the fun things about Surviving the Undead when we're shooting. I've got 40 or 50 people. We shot the end of one of our episodes out in front of my house, and we had probably 40, 50 zombies out there. Plus, on top of that, then we had our crew of 7 or 8 people, and my neighbors never know what to expect from me. So they're driving down the street and they're trying to get by. So it's almost, we just go, okay, car,
right?
And when you play frisbee, so everybody moves out of the street.
But
drives by, and then the director, I go, game on, and everybody moves back out into the street.
But you know what? In a way, that brings that kind of original element to the situation, and in a more personable kind of way, I think it brings a certain unity amongst each other too, because then everybody has a feeling of working together. Something as simple as that brings everybody together in realizing, you know, because listen, it gets rid of egos, if you know what I mean, you know, and
and I've had my fill of egos, man. And it's kind of funny that you bring up egos because I've been accused many times, and still to this day am accused of having some kind of enlarged ego. But what people don't understand is they're mistaking my confidence in what I'm doing as ego.
Exactly.
To me, and if anybody knows anything about self-promotion is about getting your work out there. Self-promotion is about trying to make money for yourself. You know, I do work outside of my job to try and make more money for myself. And, you know, people mistake you jumping up and down going, hey, you know, use my service as ego. First of all, you're stupid if you think that.
Right.
Second of all, I know what I'm good at. I know what I know how to do. And if you know how to do something and you're good at something, don't you want to portray that versus being somebody who says they know how to do something and then doesn't know what they're doing?
Yeah.
You know, I really think that my ego, I don't have some kind of inflated ego. I'm just confident in myself and what I do.
And you know, I think that's something that a lot of people don't get. You know, years ago I used to think that people got it because I saw it more often, and nowadays it's a lot less. But you make a good point because, you know, nothing's wrong with you know, when someone has confidence in what they do, and like you say, they're supposed to promote themselves as the best. Listen, and this is to all the listeners out there and everyone who is trying to accomplish or follow the goal. Listen, always consider yourself as the best at what you do. And now, even if the guy next to you considers himself as the best too, that's fine, because that's what you guys are supposed to do. It doesn't mean that, you know, Todd or myself or anybody else out there thinks that they're better than anyone else. We are simply doing what we're all supposed to do, and that's putting ourselves on a pedestal. Look, we're happy to see the next person succeed, you know.
Absolutely.
And the next, you know, and so that's just something that comes with the territory. So you make a good point. I'm glad you point that out. You know, I call myself the #1 show on the net every day. It's not because I think I'm better than anybody else. I expect other people to feel it that way about what they do as well, and I'm happy for that. But yeah, so I'm glad you pointed that out. And look, you deserve your credits, and keep doing what you do, and that's what listen. Because if you don't have confidence in yourself, Todd, everyone else is going to kick you.
Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, if you don't have confidence in yourself, if you're supposed to be a leader and you're supposed to lead your ship, you know, I mean, you know, this TV show is, as the director, it's my ship, you know, and with my buddy Preston, the other producer of the show, it's his ship. If we don't show leadership and we don't, you know, steer our ship through the storm and be a leader, then the respect level, nobody respects what you're doing.
That's it.
And nobody will respect you, and nobody will listen to you.
Absolutely. All right, look, Todd, before we get ready to get out of here, look, it's been wonderful talking to you, but let everyone know where they can follow you on social media sites, and you know, what they can look forward to in the future, how to keep an eye out for Surviving the Undead, and China White as well. Can't wait to see that.
Well, you better watch out, Keith. I might get you involved in China White too, man.
Hey,
I may have to bury you deep into it too.
Hey, look, I'm that kind of guy. Just let me know. I'm with you.
All right. I'll send you some. I'll email you some stuff here later tonight when I get home.
Okay.
But if anybody wants to follow me send me a friend request on Facebook. It's Todd Ernest Braley on Facebook. I don't do the Twitter thing too much. I have a Twitter account, but I don't use it. I'm on Instagram occasionally, but most of the time you can just find me on Facebook, and that's where you're going to know everything that's going on with me. And the Surviving the Undead page, just type in Surviving the Undead television series, and you can keep up with us on there. I'm going to have some behind the scenes stuff we're going to be posting here within the next few days.
And
we've got cast and crew interviews I really want everybody to stick with us on this TV show because we're going to definitely be able to. It's going to be worth the wait. It's definitely going to be worth the wait.
All right, and I also want to remind everybody out there to also keep up with my Facebook page and social network, and also because I'll also be promoting. Listen, before we get out of here, we got another caller on the line. Todd, you listen to the Keith Harris Show with Keith Harris and Todd E.Braley. Who's calling?
Hey, what's up, Keith? It's Jose again.
Hey.
I just wanted to say I definitely vote for you to be a part of Time White, and I will support that to the fullest. Okay? Also, on top of that, Todd, I read something on your page too about this project, Blood and Secrets. Maybe you can elaborate on that.
You hear him, Todd?
No, say that again. I couldn't hear him, Keith. What did you say?
Sorry, say it again, Todd.
Blood and Secrets, and I definitely support Keith Harris having part in China White, and I'm gonna try and help make sure that happens.
Hey.
Right on. Yeah, Blood and Secrets with our buddy Mike Akers. Mike Akers is also another extremely loyal friend and a great actor. Yeah, Blood and Secrets is basically it's Ghostbusters without the comedy. It's gonna be definitely a paranormal film that is not gonna be. You're not gonna be able to see the ghosts. I'm not gonna use a bunch of CGI. I mean, it's gonna be stuff you can't see, and the stuff that you can't see is the stuff that's the most scary. That's gonna be something that we're gonna be working on, hopefully towards the end of this year, beginning of next year. So look forward to that one too. We're gonna shoot that one out here where I live.
Okay, all right. Look, Jose, we thank you for calling in, and I'm all for having a part in China White and Blood and Secrets. Listen, we got to get you to come back on the show later on, Todd, and tell us about that one. Jose leaked that out. I appreciate that, Jose, for doing that. You know what I'm saying? I think we lost Jose for a second, but good luck for calling in again, Jose. Look, I want to remind everybody out there, in case you tuned in late for the interview today, or you missed this conversation, make sure that you know you can check the full conversation on social media. It will be up just a little bit later from now. And before we go, once again, we have another caller. You listen to the Keith Harris Show. Myself and Todd E.Braley on the line. Who's calling?
This is Mike Akers.
Oh, Mr. Akers, what's up, buddy?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. How's it going?
We're doing, man. Mr. Harris is one of the best interviewers ever, man. I like him.
How you doing, Mike?
I like him a lot.
I'm doing really well.
That's great, and we thank you for calling in today. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Ohio.
Okay, all right. Big shouts out to Ohio. What's y'all weather looking like up there? I'm assuming snowy.
Well, let's see. Right now we have about 5 feet of snow.
Oh, good gracious.
Yeah, every week we're getting about 4 more inches of snow. Schools are closing, and it takes you 3 days to drive to work.
Oh, wow. Well, it gets a good reason to stay toasty in the house, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. So.
Yeah, I know that's right. So, So, do you follow Todd's projects? Do you guys work together? How do you guys know each other? Fan?
Yeah, I met Todd through Facebook. Actually, it was through Jose Masonette that I met Todd. Jose said, "You've got to follow this guy. He's a director, and he's just awesome." And I started, and we just became friends. And I was listening to the interview, and Blood and Secrets was brought up. So Todd has potentially cast me in that film. So I just wanted to call in and give a shout out to Todd and my support and Blood and Secrets, and hopefully we'll be able to work together soon. And
awesome.
Yeah, Mike's my lead, man. Mike is going to be the lead in Blood and Secrets. He's going to be the head of the paranormal group that are trying to find out why this small town has all of a sudden people are dying all over this small town, and they're the paranormal group that actually gets called in. And Cassie B is part of that group, and they go into this little town to try and help them figure out their ghost problem, and why there's all these people are dying. So, and And Mike's going to be phenomenal in that part. Mike is going to tear it up.
Well, congrats, Mike. Congrats. We definitely look forward to seeing you in that. We know it's going to be a wonderful film.
Thank you. I look forward to doing it. So I'm going to take off, and I just wanted to send my support and my love, and I will see you guys on social media.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
make sure we find each other on there, Mike.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks, Mike.
All right. Yeah, but look, Blood and Secrets. Listen, I didn't. Did you expect all of that to come out about Blood and Secrets today, Todd?
I wasn't sure if it was going to get talked about or not, but that's pretty cool.
That's great.
We actually shot a little bit of a trailer for that here a while back. I'll repost that online.
Okay.
But, that's going to be a fun movie to make. That's going to be a fun one.
We're looking forward to it.
No CG in it, man. No CG.
Yeah, I like what you said. Ghostbusters without the comedy.
Yeah.
That's going to scare me even worse because Ghostbusters was the first. As a kid, that was the first movie that ever gave me nightmares, and that was comedy. So I can only imagine what you're getting ready to do to me.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're not going to have a Slimer, man. It's just going to be. It's just like I said. It's what you're not going to see is what you're going to be scared of.
All right.
And that's part of what we're doing. And that was, I'll say this in closing, that was like one of the scariest things about Jaws is because the shark didn't work, it actually made the movie that much scarier because you never saw it. And what you don't see is always scarier than what you see in front of you.
Exactly.
That's why I love the horror films that are more psychologically scary than gory. I'm not a big gore fan.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Because you like you say, because then it's the element of what's there, what's around that corner, or what are they seeing that I don't see?
Yep. And it's the things you can't see are the things that you're scared of.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think horror films today are missing is what you don't see.
They are. They are. I totally agree.
So,
all right, Todd, look, it's been wonderful talking to you, man. Listen, again, make sure everybody follows and support Todd E.Braley and his whole team of staff's projects. Like he said, check them out on Facebook. Also, don't forget to check my Facebook as well for what Todd has going on. Listen, it's been an honor to have you on. Todd, listen, keep your confidence. You're doing great things, and you're giving people out there opportunities. And anybody who decided and messed up with working with you, they made a mistake, man. So, keep doing
thanks, man.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it, man. And make sure you guys all check Keith. Don't just listen to a show just because I'm on there. I've listened to some of his other shows. Yeah. He knows what he's doing. He's a great interviewer, and his shows are fun to listen to. So you guys make sure that you don't just listen to the show just because I was on it. You guys check out his other stuff, too, because he's got a lot of great people on his shows, man. So you guys support this man. Don't just support him when I'm there.
Hey, look, that means a lot. That means a lot, Todd. I thank you so much for saying that. And, I didn't want to, and before we get out of here, I didn't say it, and I, didn't know how to, really put, I didn't want to say it quite during the show, but before we get out of here, I just want to send my condolences, too, from all of us over here to you, for what you went through just recently.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks. And I'm sure my wife will thank you, too. Her mother passed away about a week and a half ago, and we put her to rest on Friday.
All right. Well, our prayers go out to all you all, and Todd. Listen, we'll be talking to you soon, my man.
Well, thanks, Keith. I appreciate it. I appreciate the time, and to everybody out there, man, just follow your dreams.
Absolutely. And look, Todd, listen, and for everybody, look, we'll be keeping in touch anyway. So. This right. So this conversation is just over for right now, but there's so much more to come. So everybody out there, make sure you stay in touch. Know what's going on with Todd out there. I'll keep you in tune. Stay waiting, stay ready, stay hungry for Surviving the Undead, and China White's going to be off the chain as well. Todd, we'll be talking.
I'll send you the script and the outlines for the other two films. I'll send that stuff to you when I get home tonight, man.
Hey, that sounds like a plan, Todd. We'll be talking, brother.
All right, my brother. Thanks again for the time, man. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
All right.
I'll talk to you again.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Everybody, that was Todd E.Braley, extraordinary writer, producer, and director, down-to-earth kind of guy, hard-working, confident, and listen, one thing I like to say before I, move on is that I really listen, this show here, I almost don't want to call it a show. I want to call it this house, this house where we sit down and we have conversations. It's really important. And one element that always comes to us that I really like is the reality element. There's a lot of support that people show on this show for each other. And a lot of times you can tell that with just the emotion that goes on. And a lot of respect to that. I want to, send a shout out and a lot of respect to those that take time to actually call in as well. And, and join us during the conversations. It means a lot. A lot of moving moments, a lot of emotional moments, as well as just lights and camera in action. So I thank you all, and I appreciate you all for being able to contribute that element, because I'm the guy that's just conversating and I'm talking about one thing, but it is you all that always manage to bring the extra emotion during this 2 hours. And so I really respect you, and I appreciate that a whole lot from you, and I thank you. All right.